My name is Lynn. Welcome back to my channel or whatever. This is my coochie goblin. Their name is Etoile. That's my cat Cornelius. Baby daddy, say hi.
Hi.
So what do? I have a blog. It's called My Heart Has a Brain. That'll be linked down below. Also, I write books and they're going to be linked in my description box. I have a Holy Trinity, the mother, the daughter, and the baddest bitch. And that's Eternity Is Right Now, Ass Out, and Engaged and Only. A gang of poems too lazy to publish themselves. So today's video is called Body After Birth. I'm almost 3 months postpartum. I'll be 3 months postpartum on the 16th. And today is, I'm not going to say what day today is. Hey, I'm about to go ahead and get into it. If you see me looking down, it's because I have a script on my lap. And anninfant. So, what expectations did I have for pain? You gonna shit on the camera, you gonna cry on the camera, and you gonna act a donkey. Can we get through the video? Anyway, what expectation did I have for pain after I gave birth? I don't think I had any expectation for what after birth was gonna be like. The whole time I was pregnant, it was hard for me to perceive what I would feel like in my body after birth. I felt like I was so psyched out by labor and like anticipating having to be in labor that I only thought of postpartum as like depression. I only thought about it like as a mental thing. She done flipped out my lap. She gonna get CPS called on us. I was spooked as fuck about postpartum depression because just depression period is already like, whoa. And so I feel like postpartum is like this big fucking like monster, like Bigfoot or something. That's what I felt like before I was in postpartum. It doesn't consistently feel like that today. But I just feel like that's a video for another day. Because this video is specifically about the effects that birth had and still has on my body. So anyway, I think it's important to talk about how I related to my body before I gave birth. At the stage my body was in before I gave birth is the most comfortable in my body I've been ever. And I still had all the same insecurities that I had before. I had lost 80 pounds. I had a breast reduction and I wore low rise pants with crop tops at the same time. If you know, you know. Also, before my pregnancy, my periods were always intense as fuck. Cramping intensely, bleeding heavily every single month. I enjoy doing yoga. I like to go on walks and I liked to meditate before I was pregnant. Those are things that I did not find joy in pregnant. I feel like that's a video for another day, but being pregnant was, it. To be honest with you, when I look back on it, I just feel like it was an out-of-body experience. More times than not, I would be beside myself, like conceptualizing what pregnancy is, because the experience was so wild. But I just feel like it's because it's my first time going full term, and it is weird having somebody else in your body with you. That's weird. I don't know why that's normalized. Hey, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I did mention that although before I was pregnant that was the most comfortable I had ever been in my body, I still had the same insecurities. So what I mean by that is that I knew I was getting skinny and I knew it was serving body. But whenever I felt bloated, I would feel the same as I felt when I was 230 pounds, even though before I was pregnant, I was 160 pounds. So every month I came on my period, my stomach would bloat, and I would see my 230 pound self as my reflection. And I would think that way about my body again. Moving on, I think it's important to talk about like what shaped my perception and standard that I had of my body. And it's just been the women around me. So growing up, the women that I was around the most were critical over their stomachs in particular, but really just the word fat was something that was so degrading. And like in my household, my siblings was not allowed to call me fat. They actually was not allowed to comment on my body at all without being ran down on by my parents. But the way that both of my parents talked about their own body impacted how I seen myself as well, because both of my parents like have like body image. I don't even know if they have body image like struggles, but I know that the way that they talk about their body image impacted me negatively because they spoke about their body image negatively. So there's that. Now, when it comes to my perception and standard and desire for my body postpartum, I wanted to look how I did before I was pregnant, right after I got off the table. Period. And to this day, desire that I have for my body after postpartum, I want to go back. Except, you know, one thing I do appreciate about my body after postpartum is my yams is back. My ass is round again. And it's bigger. Like it was when I was given thick mom before I lost all that damn weight. And so I can appreciate that. Throughout the pregnancy, I would rationalize my body changing. And I would source like beauty in my body changing strictly on like, oh, I'm creating a person. I'm not alone in my body anymore. And so that boosted my self-esteem. And right after giving birth, it was like, oh my goodness, what the fuck? Because like for months my body has been sending like all of these signals to my brain for this transition, and then it just stops one day, and it's like, whoa, like that's enough to send. Like I feel like postpartum is so slepo, like how intense it is in reality of like my muscles, my body is doing this, and then the next day is no longer necessary. After birth, I did slim down a bunch, like immediately. The placenta was heavy, the baby was 7 pounds himself, and then like water weight and shit. But I remember being like a month postpartum and like trying on like a pair of shorts that I used to wear before I was pregnant, and they didn't fit, and I was like so sad. I took it so hard, and it's like, for what? Them same shorts, I can put them on today. At almost 3 months postpartum, but honestly, it don't even hit the same, because I feel like that early on in postpartum, I wanted something familiar. That's what the shorts represented to me at that stage in my life, because I could look at my body and tell it wasn't giving what it gave back way before. So for me to even try them on was giving the Lulu. However, I just needed something familiar about me, like as a person, like, oh my goodness, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And that who am I? Who am I? Who am I made me feel like, well, I am who I was, and that's just not what that's not sustainable. After such a drastic transition, I'll never be who I was. And it's not required of me, it's not necessary, and it wouldn't even be in my best interest or my family's best interest for as far as pain after birth. So I had nerve damage in my inner thigh, by my pelvis, on my left leg, because while I was in labor, she was one of her limbs or something, I don't know if I can know, she was on a nerve in my leg, and so the leg that my partner was holding while I was in labor would just go it was no warning, and I couldn't control it. And so the doctor was like, yeah, she's on your nerve, but once she gets out, it'll be fine. And honestly, it did. That recovered way faster than I thought it would. But it was just crazy that I'm watching my leg move. I didn't tell it to do that. But I mean, after being pregnant for 9 months, it's you can watch somebody else's leg move from inside you, then this is light work. I had a lot of fluid retention. I was so swollen after I gave birth. I had to wear compression socks. I had a really sweet friend who I literally love so much with all my heart. They booked a massage for me, and that was amazing. That helped so much with my fluid retention, to just work it through my body. And I just literally, I was not swollen since. Literally, that was the last day. I had new stretch marks. I have new stretch marks. My titties was sore. My asshole was on fire. My hips were hurting because literally, when you're pregnant and your body's getting ready for labor, your hips dislocate type shit. To make space for the opening that you're gonna do. Giving birth is literally your body opening up. So yeah, after I gave birth, I could feel my hips going back to how they was to this day. Anyway, my spine. Literally, after I gave birth, one day I was laying in bed, and it was probably 3 weeks postpartum tops. Talking about the pain. So boom, my spine. That's what I was talking about. I was talking about my spine. Literally, I was 3 weeks postpartum. I was laying in the bed one morning. My spine was hurting so bad. I don't know how to describe the pain. I've never felt it in my life, and I haven't felt it since. But I'm telling my partner, nigga, I gotta go to the hospital. I'm laying on this heating pad. I'm just laying as straight as I can, being as still as I possibly can. And literally, my fucking spine was just on fire. And so I looked it up, why the fuck is my spine hurting in postpartum? And they were like, yeah, your spine has to go back to the position it was in before you were pregnant. It's crazy galore as fuck. And I needed help. Everything hurt. So yeah, the pain was crazy after birth. In conclusion, my body is healthy, able, and resilient. And these are the qualities that I choose to source my peace in when it comes to my body type today. And this isn't I like my body aesthetically no matter what video, because that's not where I'm coming from, and that's not how I feel, and that's not my mentality or the paradigm that I occupy. It's a declaration that despite how I perceive the desirability of my body, I am choosing to no longer require that to be visible, to be active, and to be peaceful. And I want to start ending my YouTube videos with African proverbs, and this one is, crying a lot does not give you peace of mind. I agree. So yeah, thank you for coming to my channel or whatever, and my name is Lynn, and I have an Instagram. It's cheesy because I be cheesing. It's gonna be linked down below. I'm on X, but I don't be on X. And I think my name's Look Alive Lynn on there. I write books and I sell them, and they'll be linked down in the description below. The Mother, the Daughter, and the Baddest Bitch, my holy trinity. Gang should only, a gang of poems to lazy publish themselves. Ass out, and eternity is right now. What else? Oh, I have a blog. My Heart Has a Brain. It'll be linked down below.